What's your favorite scary movie?
Hey guys, welcome back to Pop Culture at Pat. So excited to welcome back a guest today. You remember her, she's on Yellowjackets. She plays Akilah, Nia Sondaya. Thank you so much for coming back on the show today, Nia.
Of course, thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
You are very welcome. Yeah, I mean, so much has happened. We were talking before, and in a way, it feels like it was just a year ago, but it's been a couple years. So definitely a lot to talk about with the show. This will have spoilers for episodes 1 and 2 of season 3. So just a heads up, guys, if you haven't seen those, which I feel like most of you guys watching, you probably have, but just a fair warning. But I actually wanted to start this off, Nia, because this was a question that a couple of people had asked me in the comments of our last interview, because we had kind of talked before that episode happened. So the moment where the audience realizes that Nugget was basically like you were hallucinating that Nugget was still
Yeah.
alive. I remember watching that episode and just my reaction to it. That was one of the most shocking moments for me. So, can you talk about you, I guess, initially reading it in the script and kind of what your initial reaction was when you came across that?
Yeah. Um, it also took me by surprise as well. I wasn't prepared for that. And I think I remember it kind of being hinted at by accident. I think we were like working on Shauna's birth, and there were some moments where I'm with like Nugget. I have like a moment with Nugget in that scene. And I remember someone saying, taking a little bit of extra time with this because it's going to be really shocking when we find out later that you've been like talking to a dead mouse. And I was like, I was like, wait a second. And so I kind of just like cataloged. Like, I think like little things like that happen sometimes. And so I like cataloged that. I was like, I'll just wait and see if that comes to fruition. And so when the script came out and I read that like cold open that Akilah realizes that the mouse was dead all along, I was like, okay, a little bit of me was prepared for this. But it was very shocking. And it was really sad too, because I had thought for a long time that Akilah had a bit more of her wits about her than the other girls a little bit. Just she seemed more put together, was like tunnel vision on the future and like making it out. And so I kind of thought that she was doing a little bit better mentally than everyone else. And then that really put it in perspective for me. I was like, no, she is just as messed up as everyone else. And she is also suffering from a lot of mental health. And so that was so sad. So sad. But also I thought really cool and like what a nice way to like rip you out of reality. Um, or
Yeah.
thrust you into reality because the reality is the mouse was really dead. Yeah. But it was crazy to read it on the page.
Rest in peace, Nugget. Poor guy. Oh, we were talking about that. There, obviously there was a little bit of gap between season 2 and season 3, just with the different strikes that had happened, different things. So it took a little bit longer to get season 3. So fans have been very eager. But for you, what was it like just kind of having kind of that extended break and then getting back to going back into that character and into this world for season 3?
Right. I was very excited, I think, just to get back to work. I'm sure most actors we can all say the same thing. Um, I know the strike needed to happen. We needed to get the best deal for everyone. But I know that like those months we were all kind of just like sitting on our hands, kind of like waiting and wanting to work again. So when we finally got the all clear and I knew that we were going back, it was really exciting just to know that I'd get to like be on set again and I'd get to be with my friends and work. So that was really exciting. Stepping back into Akilah, I think there was a little bit of nerves just because there was so much time off that I was like, will I be able to just like slide right back in? And I totally was able to. Akilah is she's such a sweetheart and she's so, I want to say, as traumatic as the events of the show are. Um Being able to slip into Akilah's like mindset and to kind of like live in her shoes is it, I want to say a lot easier for me, I think, than some other roles I've done. So yeah, it was nice getting to get back to her.
Yeah. Did you have to do anything? I mean, it seemed like you said seemed pretty
I
seamlessly, but was there
mean,
anything that you did to kind of maybe prepare for the season or?
I say luckily for me, I do character journals for most of my work. And so I was able to just kind of like open up my old character journals from season 2 and just kind of remember where she's at, how she thinks, what her perspective is and what her opinions are on everyone. And then I was able to kind of just like snap back in that way.
Yeah.
So thankfully I kind of had that roadmap for myself.
So that's not too bad then. And now this next question is not gonna obviously I'm not gonna ask you because if you do know any of these answers to these questions, we don't want to know yet. But for
Right.
you
Nervous.
personally, what burning questions have you wanted answered the most? whether it be who's pick girl, who's the antler queen, who maybe really burned down the cabin. Was there any specific
Yeah.
question that was like really kind of nagging you the most that you wanted to find out the answer to, or still want to find out the answer
You know
to?
what? Yeah, there's actually so many, and most of them you just said were on your list. But one that I find that I like a lot of people talk about often, but it like is nagging on the back of my brain always is what happened to Crystal. Like
Yeah,
our girl Crystal, she like I mean, obviously she took a pretty hard fall. So I mean, I'm assuming she probably didn't survive that. But then when we go back to look for her body,
it's gone.
it's gone. And so I will always want to know. I mean, maybe she was eaten, maybe, but I need a little more clarification on that. So that's always something that I'm like
I
hoping to see. And
I
yeah,
did think, or I was happy to see that. I think it was episode 2 that Misty had brought up Crystal's name because in the first episode there were the couple graves, and you guys kind of had the little ceremony
right.
for them,
Yeah, I
and
think it was
Crystal
just
wasn't
that.
mentioned there, and I was like, wait a second. I was like,
Yeah.
well, what about Crystal? And I know there's been the theory online that she was a figment of imagination, but then you also go back. It's kind of like you could see it either way because there's also in season 2 there's moments where people were directly interacting with
With
Crystal.
Crystal. Yeah. And talking
So
about her. Even I have a line about Crystal.
yeah,
When she was missing, I go, well, shouldn't we go look for her?
yeah,
Yeah. So I do think that is something that I think would be really interesting to find out. I think there's a lot that could happen with that too.
oh yeah,
Um,
for sure. And
maybe
obviously,
she's
yeah, we won't. Yeah, we'll see what happens. And I know, like, if you do know anything, don't want to get you in trouble for that. We have seen, or like I should say, I have seen a number of people say that Akilah must be protected at all cost. I've seen some of the fan artwork too for your character. So what does it just mean to know that you've helped bring to character or bring to life this character that so many people have connected with and feel that protection over this character?
it warms my heart that people love Akilah the way that I do, and that people see her as someone who needs to be protected because she is a sweetheart. She really is. And I think that a lot of her time spent out there, Akilah is trying her best to, I think, to just contribute as much as she can and to stay out of drama and trouble, and she's just trying her best to survive. And I feel like in the midst of this group of girls where there's so much drama and just there's arguing and fighting everywhere, I feel like she's a little gem. She's a little gem that does deserve to be protected, and it does warm my heart that everyone sees her that way. I think I try my best to keep her on the straight and narrow.
As best
And
as
so
possible.
as much as possible given the circumstances, always. But I do think that she is truly a sweetheart, and I love that people see her that way.
Yeah, it was like a couple days ago, maybe it was yesterday, that I saw that you had shared like a piece of fan art of Akilah. And I was like, wow, I mean, like the amount of
Good.
talent that these people have is just amazing. And I was like, that was a really cool piece of fan art.
Yeah, absolutely incredible. It was like she like drew Akilah as a Disney princess. And
Yeah,
I was
yep,
like,
that's what it
first of all,
was.
how cool. And I will say more so this season now that she is surrounded by all of her animals and she's been, doing animal husbandry. And I do think it's really cute to see her surrounded by all the little animals because she does have a really close connection with them this season. I think they are a bit of her lifeline. They're what's keeping her going. She's taking care of them. And I think they're also in turn taking care of her mental health. And so it was sweet to see that picture of her and all of her animals, and they drew the locks, and it was just so, so, so cool.
Yeah, I imagine like any time that as a creative, any time that you have something that really connects with people, I mean, that just must mean the world to you guys, knowing that you've impacted people on such a deep level like that.
Definitely.
Now, so it's interesting. So for season 2, you were one of the new kids on the block, coming into the show, and now this time around, you're one of the vets, and you had a couple new people coming into the show. So what was it like to kind of take those people under your wing and kind of introduce them to this world where they were coming in a couple seasons in?
Well, it was great. Vanessa, Silvana, and Anisa are all so lovely and so fun to work with and to just have around. So they brought like a really great bright energy onto set, which was lovely. And I think we were all just doing our doing our best to survive the wilderness this season. But I think that I mean, I don't think that either like any of them needed anyone to take them under their wing. I think they all came on really strong and like knew what they were going to do. I think Vanessa stepped into the role of Jen really well, and that she brought, you know, her own like life and essence to the character and the story. So yeah, I just enjoyed like making friends with them, and we are all such good friends, and so I just enjoyed getting to like hang out with them this season, and yeah, we had a blast.
Plus, I feel like it's fun too. It's like obviously, you know, everyone's been kind of working on the show for a couple years now, but it's always fun to sometimes introduce some new characters and have a different dynamic on the set just to kind of mix things up a little bit as well.
Absolutely. It was really great to have new energy, I think, as well. Not that like we have a great vibe, but I think
Yeah.
that bringing new people is just it's fun and exciting.
You just kind of talked about it there, but why do you think, without going into any spoilers, if it is something major that kind of happens in the rest of the season, why do you think Akilah connects with animals on such a deep level?
Okay, that's a good question. Um, I think for many different reasons. I think that because Akilah, just by her like quieter nature and the way that she does kind of stick to herself a bit, I think that with the animals that kind of allows her to live in her own world. And it's also away from the drama and the chaos of the group. And so I think that she just thrives in that peace that comes from just being with her animals and taking care of them. I think it's very straightforward. It's like, you know, I feed these animals and they're going to be okay and I'm going to take care of them. It's a lot less messy than what's going on with the group and with the
Oh yeah.
circumstances. And so I just think, and also I just feel like something about her is just so gentle and so kind. And I feel like it makes sense that animals would,
Connect
that
with
they
her.
would like, yeah, exactly, come to her and feel comfortable with her. And it makes sense that she feels comfortable with them. Um, yeah,
Yeah,
just
no,
think it,
it definitely makes sense like why they would, you know, would connect with her on a level like that. Now, I'm curious for you too. Now working on the show for 2 seasons, has working on this series like Yellow Jackets, has it helped you learn any survival techniques that if you were out in the woods that you could possibly use?
ooh. You know, the only thing this show has taught me is that I would not survive. I absolutely
Oh, come
wouldn't.
on, Nia.
Um, I wouldn't. And I will say that this season, because we filmed everything outside as opposed to last season where we were on a like a studio set. There were many times, which I will say the environment I think lended to the performance.
Yeah.
There were many times when I was sitting out, we'd be like filming in the middle of the night maybe, and I'd be looking around in the pitch black dark and getting like bit up, and I'd be like, yeah, I can understand how this would suck. So
Oh
I
yeah.
think if anything it taught me, I'm not cut out for it. I just say I'm not. Sorry.
That's fair. But so in a way, like you said, it informed the performance. So that, I mean, that's kind of cool in a way. I'm sure at certain points it probably wasn't so fun, like you said, just being out there and getting attacked by bugs and the hot weather and things like that. But in a way,
Yeah.
I'm sure that probably kind of helped immerse you in this world a little bit more too, rather than being on a set where sometimes you had to pretend to be cold, you know, in the previous season and things like that.
Yeah, it definitely helped to immerse us into the world in the best way possible. I mean, I could go on and on about the millions of complaints. Obviously, I mean, anybody who spends most of the summer in the wilderness would have things to say, but it definitely helped, I think, a lot being there. I think I would prefer shooting it outside every season. I liked that.
Yeah. No, I can imagine, but yeah, I'm sure you're glad to be out of the environment at the same time. So in, I believe it was let's say, was it episode 1 or 2 that we see Akilah bring over Mortimer over to Travis, and you know where he really needs it. Now, how has obviously she's had her moments where you know where she thought that Nugget was still alive, but how has Akilah been able to kind of keep that thoughtfulness, caring side to her still up to this point where you guys have been through so much in the show?
Right. I think again, a lot like I think it's her lifeline. I think that she is doing all that she can to hold on to her humanity. I think that what we're seeing with a lot of the girls is little pieces of their humanity being pulled away as the seasons are going on. And I think that Akilah is trying her hardest to hold on to hers. Um, and so I do think that to carry, and also I feel like I've like had this through line with Akilah and Travis. I feel like Akilah has seen Travis go through so much. And I feel like there's a part of her that really does feel for him and for what happened to Hobby and what happened to his father. And I just think that out of everyone in the wilderness right now, I think that Akilah really is hurting for Travis. And so I don't know. I feel like she's found little moments to kind of connect with everyone throughout the seasons, but I do like that they had added those moments with her and Travis because I think that she is trying her best to still see everyone as human and seeing everyone for who they are and hold on to that. And I think that she's still caring for everyone in a way, whereas everyone is kind of just like every man for themselves a bit. Akilah's still looking out for others. And I think that's her holding on to herself and her humanity as much as she can.
Although I will say, Nia, I am a little worried for Akilah this season just because one, where you mentioned she is the compass. And if we were to kind of like what happened, I feel like with Laura Lee, I'm a little worried for her. Also, the fact that Travis, when he had brought up that line and he said something about that someone else has connected with the wilderness a little bit more. And so we'll see. I know obviously you can't say anything. We'll see what happens with the rest of the season. But, and I swear,
Yeah.
Raiders, you guys better not do us dirty with Mortimer. Better not lose him like we lost
No,
Nugget as well.
I know. Protect Mortimer at all costs.
Yes, exactly. And I have to also ask you too, what was your reaction when, because I know it shocked me, it shocked a lot of other people, the end of episode 2, the whole Shauna and Melissa kiss scene, because I did not see that coming, and I feel like and no one else did. So, what was
Yeah.
your reaction to when you first found out about that?
Yeah, reading that script was insane. I think I got really excited. I'm somebody I look for romance in everything. And so as much as this is like so chaotic and so crazy, part of me has to ship it. I'm sorry, just a little. Just a little. And so it was really exciting also just for like Melissa's character just to be expanded on in that way and to get to see where that's gonna go. I think that was so exciting and genius. Just that like tension between them. It was hot, it was cool. I remember reading it and being like, oh, people are gonna lose their minds. I lost my mind reading it. I thought it was
Yeah.
really, really
I was a little worried there for a second, Chris, where Shauna pulled out
with
that
the
knife.
knife.
I was like, damn, is
Yeah,
Gina about to get killed off in the
right. You're like
second
Melissa doesn't
episode?
even make it into doesn't even make it past episode 2. No, it
Yeah.
is really intense, and I love that. I love like the moment shifting from like really like intense chaos to like is she gonna slit her throat to whoa they're making
Yep.
out. Yeah, really cool.
Yeah, I'm definitely curious to see how that, as I'm sure a lot of fans are, how that kind of all plays out for the rest of the season. And I guess as far as just like Yellow Jackets go, is there, what else can you say for fans? I guess just to kind of, without any spoilers, obviously, what can you tease for what's to kind of come in the rest of the season?
Um, what I will say is that personally, I feel like this is the most satisfying season. I think for audience members, I think that everyone will be satisfied. I do think that it's chaotic and unpredictable, in a really, really, really wild journey. So I'm just excited for people to go on the journey, and I do think that by the end of the season, people will feel satisfied.
And I also wanted to ask you too, before we end the interview, is some of your other projects. I know you had a short that came out this past year in 2024. Right now, where is it available for people to watch online or to access easily? Or
So Rebel Girls, written and directed by Felicia Henderson, it's still not available to the public. She's still doing the festivals right now, and presenting it in a few different ways. It's really exciting though. I had a lot of fun working on that, and it was a huge ensemble of girls. I love all of them. We really like made fast friends working on that. So that was really exciting. I will, as soon as it is available to the public, I will be posting it because I'm very proud of it.
perfect.
Yeah, but thanks for asking about that.
No, no, yeah, I can't wait. Like I remember when you had posted about, I think just the poster, and maybe there was like a trailer, like teaser for it as well. And it was something that I wanted to, check out anytime that can support any of your guys' work. I always want to do that. So yeah, definitely let me know and let, the rest of the audience know as soon as that comes out so we can check it out for sure.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Pat.
You're very welcome, Nia. And yeah, thank you again so much for your time today, coming on, talking about, your other projects, Yellow Jackets. Obviously, I can't wait to see how the rest of the season plays out. Fingers crossed for Akilah. I hope she makes it through this season. And obviously, you are welcome back anytime in the future.
Oh, yay. Thank you so much.